All right, welcome back. In this episode, we are going to talk about why all of the books you're reading aren't actually helping you in transformation, in personal growth, in spiritual evolution like you want them to be. And of course, what you can do to actually help the wisdom that you're reading about transcend into actual action in your everyday reality so that you can start feeling and experiencing the transformation that you are seeking. My name is Gianna Badeau. I'm a one on one coach, certified hypnotherapist, meditation teacher, and guide. And if you do feel that you need deeper support beyond this episode, make sure that you check out the resources that are linked for you in the notes below, especially the Rewired app. There's over 50 subconscious activations, meditations, and self hypnosis audio recordings to help you stress less and achieve more in your life every single day. All right, let's dive into it. Why do the books not work? No matter how many books you read, why are you still not seeing the changes that you want to see in your day to day reality? Now, I'll just speak from experience. I have very personal experience with this. I have read every book under the sun as it relates to personal development, spiritual evolution, self growth, mental health. You name it. I've read every book. I went through this phase of information gathering when I first started my healing journey 10 years ago. And what I learned was yes, I started making lots of mental shifts and learning more about myself and gaining awareness on the parts of myself that needed more focus, needed more healing, needed more attention. But what I started to notice from constantly reading more and more books is that you're just taking in information. And when you take in so much information, what tends to happen is something I call analysis paralysis. When you're taking in so much at once, but you're not actually putting it out into action. You're not actually doing the work that they're talking about and you're reading about and you're learning about in the book. So, a lot of times, why you're not seeing shifts happening, even though you're making mental shifts and you're feeling shifts happening, the reason why you're not actually seeing the changes taking place is because you're not actually taking the actions that the books are actually talking about. Books are great for helping you shift your mindset and gain a new awareness, but you're not actually rewiring your subconscious that allows you to actually make lasting change. So, what's really important as you are taking in information and you are reading books and you're gaining insight and you're gaining wisdom and you're gaining knowledge is that you make an action plan. Whatever you are learning inside that book, you need to find a way to start putting it into action consistently. Consistently is the key word because you can't just take an action once and expect change and expect transformation. This means intentional, consistent, long term action and really honing in and focusing in on one specific methodology for a period of time. It can be really easy to start reading tons and tons of books and taking in all of this information. I went through this information loading. And you know what happened? Analysis paralysis. You've learned so much, you've gained so much new wisdom, so much new levels, and so many new levels of insight that you feel like you're a different person. You feel like you're seeing things differently, but you're not actually taking those actions. So even though you may feel like change is happening, it's not actually happening unless you're actually taking action. And if you are taking in too much information, it's nearly impossible for you to actually take action in the correct way. Taking action means taking action in a very specific way. That is how I am speaking of it here in this episode, which means you again are honing in on perhaps one or two books, one or two methodologies, and focusing on the mastery of whatever that book is teaching you, putting it into action, practicing it every day. Now, some books, some really good books, will actually lay out action steps for you to take as you are reading those books. Whatever those are, take those actions in a way that feels most aligned and works best for you. However, some books don't, and they're still really great, incredible, life changing books that help you see things differently. But those books, again, they still need action. So, what you can do there is find your own action plan, create your own action plan from what you're learning inside whatever the book is. And what I also recommend is that you reread that book over and over again. Repetition is the true path to mastery of literally anything. So, if you want to start living, breathing, being the teachings that you're reading inside a book, you have to master it. You have to master it over and over again. Reading a book once is not enough. It's not enough to make a shift. There's a book that I'm reading right now that I actually committed to read over and over again throughout this entire month until I mastered it. And I'm actually already in the new month, and I'm probably going to make that same commitment to reread it over and over again for this whole next month because I found this book specifically so impactful, so profound that I want to master this book. And you're probably wondering what this book is. It is called The Little Blue Book. You can look it up on Amazon and find it. It's a very, very small book, a quick read on metaphysics and manifestation, and really bringing it back to the basics, which is why I really love this book because I've read tons and tons of books on manifestation and metaphysics. But this book specifically really breaks it down in a very clear, concise way and gives lots of action steps. So I am rereading it over and over again for the purpose of self mastery. And again, mastery happens through repetition. So, what I recommend you do is reread and study the same book over and over again. I mean, that's what you do when you're in school, right? To learn a subject, you don't just go to a class once. You're in that class for an extended period of time. You study, you use flashcards, you are rereading your textbook, you're highlighting things. And that's how you actually learn and master the subject that you're learning. It is the same thing for when you are reading a self development or a spiritual book. You must take time to actually master it. It's not enough to just read it. I actually went through again a period in my life where I was reading these profound transformational texts, spiritual texts like the Bhagavad Gita, so many different books, and wondering why I still make the same bad mistakes, why I'm still stuck in the same habits and loops that weren't making me feel so good about myself. And it's because I read the book once. I needed to read it 10, 20 more times to actually let the teachings sink in and become me. Now, where the subconscious comes into this, your subconscious loves repetition. Your subconscious learns and rewires through repetition. So the subconscious needs repetition to actually reprogram your brain, to reprogram your subconscious, to reprogram your nervous system and the way that you are showing up in your day to day reality. And your subconscious, again, as we've talked about many times throughout each of these episodes, is the hub of you, the blueprint of you, is why you are the way you are. And so if you are just reading a book with your conscious mind and it's not permeating your subconscious because you're not repeating it over and over again, then you're not actually making change at the subconscious level. And if you're not making change at the subconscious level, then you're not making change at all. True change and transformation only can happen at the subconscious level of your mind. So, to grow and evolve and to actually make shifts and changes, you have to bring the subconscious into this. And that is another reason why these books aren't working for you. You are making shifts, you're seeing things differently, you're gaining lots of insight and wisdom, but you're not programming your subconscious with that insight and with that wisdom that you are learning. And the way to do that, again, is through repetition, repetition of reading the same text over and over again, repetition of practicing what is inside the book over and over again, taking actual action is what I'm referring to here, not just reading about it, but actually doing the thing, putting it into your schedule, putting it into your agenda so that you are living, breathing, doing it. That's how you actually start to make changes and see shifts happening. Because other than that, you're just taking in information. Doesn't mean that information is actually going to do anything for you. Information cannot do anything for you unless you do something with it. So, for information to work for you, you have to work with it. You have to work it. You have to use it. So, whatever information you're learning, if you feel like it's shifting your perspective, but you're not actually seeing changes in your life, it's because you're not practicing it. You're not living it. You're not breathing it. You're not being it in the way that you need to through the form of repetition to actually rewire the subconscious, because the subconscious is actually what transforms you. It's what transforms the way that you feel and the way that you show up and the way you take action and the way you think and the way you literally do everything. So to see shifts taking place, you have to start taking action at the subconscious level. Repetition is the key to this. Your subconscious loves repetition. Your subconscious loves repetition. And in fact, the subconscious only responds to repetition. So, again, I'll repeat it again, repetition. If you want to see any shift, any change, any level of transformation, it requires you to repeat, repeat, repeat the actions over and over again that you're reading about in that book. Repeat, 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 reading that book over and over again. This is how you master anything. It is practice, practice, practice. This is what athletes do. They don't practice once and then show up to a game. No, they practice every day. They hone their craft. They do the thing every day. They become it. And this is the same thing when it comes to healing and inner transformation. It's not something you can read about once. You have to practice, you have to do, you have to repeat. This is the key. And unfortunately, most books won't tell you to reread them over and over again, which they should. If I ever write a book someday, which I will eventually, I will have that on the front page. Reread this until you master it. In fact, the book I'm reading right now, The Little Blue Book, I forgot the name of the author. I believe it's Connie Mendez. The Little Blue Book by Connie Mendez. Really simple book. You can find it on Amazon. She writes throughout the book, don't just take this in, reread this, keep this in your pocket, read it over and over again. And I've read many books that actually tell you to do that. Another one that tells you to do that is Happy Pocket Full of Money. I forgot the author to that one too, but I've read that one a lot over and over again. It's a great book on abundance, money manifestation, Happy Pocket Full of Money. Great book. And the author of that book, he says throughout the book, reread this book. Don't just read it once, do the practices. A good book will tell you to reread over and over again to actually master what the book is trying to teach you. So if again, your books aren't working, the transformation isn't happening, it doesn't mean you should just stop reading the books because they don't work. They're not working because you're not working the book. You're not taking action from what you're reading. So to help these books work for you, you must take action, you must repeat, you must master it over and over again. So I hope this was helpful for you for your next book, or perhaps the next book you're going to reread. Really find what you want to master. Find a book that really spoke to you and reread it over and over and over again. And I guarantee you, you will start to become those teachings in the book. You won't need to try so hard to do what they're telling you to do. You'll just begin to do it because you're mastering it, because you are becoming it, because you are learning it over and over again. Your subconscious is starting to learn it. And when your subconscious learns it, you become it. Your subconscious is the key to everything you do. So if you want to transform in any way, you have to bring your subconscious into the equation. If you're leaving your subconscious out, then you are going to make the process a lot longer for yourself. And so if you want support shifting and transforming your subconscious so that you can shift your inner state, so that you can shift your physical state in your day-to-day reality, so that you can shift what you're seeing around you in your reality, create more abundance, create more success, make sure you grab access to the Rewired app so that you can start pressing play on audios that are specifically designed to help you rewire and transform your subconscious, the blueprint of you, the reason why you are the way you are. So you can grab access to the Rewired audios in the link below. And if you do know that you have deeper level subconscious blocks, these are blocks that you can't quite figure out what they are. You just know there is something under the surface that is holding you back and keeping you stuck, and you don't know quite what it is, then I highly recommend that you submit an application to work with me one-on-one to do subconscious coaching and hypnotherapy to help eliminate those blocks. This is not work that you can do on your own. This is not work that you can do in traditional coaching or therapy. This is only work that can be done through working with the subconscious. So you need to work with a professional who is an expert in the subconscious mind. And so if you feel called to do this, check out the application linked below. And how to know if you're ready for subconscious coaching or hypnotherapy. There's a feeling inside you that you know there's a block, you know there's something in the way, you know there's some hidden potential that you can't quite figure out what it is. You can't quite figure out what is stopping you, but you know there's something within you and you feel it. There's a question mark around what it is, but you feel that there is something inside of you that is holding you back and keeping you stuck. If you feel that way, then subconscious coaching and hypnotherapy is the perfect fit for you to help figure out what that is, gain awareness around it, heal it, and of course, rewire it. So you can check out the information linked for you below to help you get started. And if you love this episode, make sure you subscribe and you hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single episode along this incredible journey. And I'll see you next time.